أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum jamian, and thank you very much for joining us for this course again, for this session number 2 of this course and session number 30 of Quranic Arabic. It is really good to see that some of you are there on time, so we can start on time and also end, because just now the nights are now changed, right? We change 1 hour, so now, for example, when we finish at around 10 p.m., it is already 11 p.m. We are still adjusting to the new timings. It's good. So alhamdulillah, we are progressing well, I can see from your answers. But now we are coming to some of the aspects which are grammatically important, but even little, maybe perhaps difficult or not that easy. So it is important that we understand the concept. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. Now, I see some of you do ask questions. It also is good. Sometimes, for example, if even I might have overlooked something, so then it's an opportunity for me to correct that. So please do not hesitate in asking questions. Do that. It is good. No, I don't mind. In fact, rather if it's too much, then I'll tell you, let's wait. But of course, when I'm talking at that time, you can wait, you can raise your hand, but inshallah, I will answer. But it's good that you're asking questions and clarify. It is important that we understand the concepts well. It's very, very important, because these are building blocks. If we missed some of the things, then as we progress, you'll always have certain questions and you'll always have problems in understanding the concepts. Okay? So as usual, let us start with dua. Today I will read it, but inshallah beginning next week, we'll again ask the volunteers to start reading this dua. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. Allahumma waffiqna lima tuhibbu wa tarda. ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين أبدا. اللهم أخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم. اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. The first, of course, we start dua always with Bismillah and Salawat, but then the first line is different than the other lines. The first line is general dua that, oh Allah, give us tawfiq, grant us success in thinking and saying and doing things that which you love and you are pleased with. That is very important. Allahumma waffiqna lima tuhibbu wa tarda. If possible, try to memorize this. Now, memorize this line. First line is beautiful line. You can say also in Qunut. Allahumma waffiq. You can say in the same way, this is in a plural form, or you can just change it into a singular. Allahumma waffiqni lima tuhibbu wa tarda. Allah, give me tawfiq or success in doing things which you love and which you are pleased with. وَلَا تَكِلْنَا إِلَىٰ أَنفُسِنَا طَرْفَةَ عَيْنٍ. And do not just leave us alone, just to ourselves, for the blink of an eye. That means we always we want the guidance and blessings and covering of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mercy of Allah is always with us. And then, of course, next what follows is a different dua, what you combine here. That dua is for before reading or before your class, which is focused on that what we are learning. We should know, Allahumma akhrijna min zulumat wa. Allah, remove us from the darkness of doubt and error. Wa akrimna bi nuril fahm, and pure us with the light of understanding. Right? Allahumma ftah alayna abwaab rahmatik. Allah, open for us and unfold for us the treasures of Allah, open for us the doors of your mercy. وَانْشُرْنَا عَلَيْنَا خَزَائِنَ. And Allah, unfold for us the treasures of your knowledge. بِرَحْمَتِكَ يَا أَرْحَمَ الرَّاحِمِينَ. Okay, so this is, as we said, we still have 9 registrants. It will be good that if we get 10, so at least we are following the requirements which Academy has of what having at least 10 students. So see if we can talk to friends. We had Farzana, who was quite active and used to understand the concept and answer all the questions, what homework. I don't know why she has not joined us. Perhaps now Sister Yasmin can follow up with her. So we'll return, inshallah.
Okay.
And of course, otherwise things are okay. About 5 of you sent your homework. I had a look at them and we'll comment, we'll discuss about it when we discuss the homework, inshallah. These are some of the things by now you should know. We are discussing some of these things. Right? Again, what is Quranic Arabic? We have said that no, or more focus is to understand the Quran. It's very important. As we read, as you recite Quran, as you tilawat the Quran in namaz, in gatherings, or after namaz, you do. It is important, and then we understand as we are. So here is what, as we are doing the homework last week, we came across this phrase, Ya Ukhta Haruna, Ya Ukhta Haruna, or the sister of Harun. And then we noticed that there was differences in translation. So then I thought that let me look at a few translations and discuss this thing. Just to explain to you that why things are different. It's just, you can see it's a very straightforward Ya, that means Ya is Munadi, of calling, for example, Ya Abu Abdullah, right? Or Ya Hussein, we see all that, Ya Hussein, O Hussein, O Hussein. Ukhta is of course, his sister of Harun. Of course, the straightforward translation is O sister of Harun. And most of the translators have said O sister of Harun, right? But our translators, Sayyid Ali Kudi Karai, whom we are using, has used it, translated is different. Why is it so? So I thought I'll discuss with you, it's an interesting point that as students of Quran, you should be able to see these differences and observe those kind of things. So here it is, right? For example, Arbari is subhanAllah, is the English person who translated the Quran in 1950s. He visited many Muslim countries and translated, he knew Arabic and Farsi well, and translated some of the most important documents and books, but also he translated Quran. And he is a very good, if you can lay a hand on his introduction. Once I had introduction, I couldn't find in my files. Maybe I'll try to see my all files or in my hard drive, in my hard drive, which is a detached hard drive. I'll try to find if I can find that article. It's a very good introduction to Quran, very nice. So he also says, "O sister of Harun," of course, not complete. No, your father was not a weak man, nor was the mother a woman in chess. We discussed this thing, but he just says sister of Harun. Mir Ahmad Ali says, "O sister of Harun." And of course, he has a footnote to explain which Harun is being referred to. Kudi Karai, earlier, when he first translated in 2003, said, "O sister of Harun's lineage." Aaron is of Harun, Aaron's lineage. But because he's living, alhamdulillah, and he's been revising his translation and new editions are coming. So the one which I am using, 2017 edition, which we've been showing it to you, this is 2017 edition, published in the US by Tahrik Quran. Here he has changed to say, "O kinswoman of the Aaronites." Now, why is it so? Now, of course, if you take Yusuf Ali, he also says, "O sister of Aaron," and also has a footnote to explain how she was related to Aaron, the mother of Moses, right? So what Mir Ahmad Ali and Yusuf Ali, because they have not only translation, but within the translation, there are footnotes. I don't know how many of you have seen this thing in your library. I hope all of you have Mir Ahmad Ali, because Mir Ahmad Ali is the only Shia tafsir in brief, which is complete. Shia tafsir in brief is by Mir Ahmad Ali. So every Shia house should have it. It is in brief. So there are footnotes to explain this thing. But Kudi Karai has just a translation. This is a translation. There is a very, as you know, that we have used also, there is a comprehensive index at the end. And there are sometimes only footnotes here and there, very brief at the end. You can see at the end notes, not footnotes, there are few, right? You can see. But he does not have those detailed notes the way Mir Ahmad Ali has or Yusuf Ali has. So he has to cover that thing within the translation. So let us look at Sayyid Hussain Nasr. Et al means Sayyid Hussain Nasr and a team. Et al is not when a work is done by a team. So you and the person who is the main editor, his name appears, and then of course et al. Sayyid Hussain Nasr is a renowned scholar of Islam in America. If you just if you get time, listen to his lectures. It's really intellectual lectures. It's really good. You can just go to YouTube and just write his name and listen to some of the lectures. They're very powerful lectures and quite profound. So he has come up with, along with a team of scholars, have come up with what is known as the study Quran. Thereby, he has translated the entire Quran, and also they have put notes, footnotes, actually tafsir. They were taken, they referred to various parts of tafsir and summarized into passages. So it's a very good work. It's quite scholarly work and good work, and very popular. The study Quran, if you can check. So there they have mentioned this. It says, "O sister of Aaron," he says that Mary is addressed as sister of Aaron is not, according to commentators, meant to indicate that she was the biological sister of Prophet Harun, the brother of Musa. You see, it's very clearly said that she was not biological sister of Nabi Harun, the brother of Nabi Musa. Why? He also said because this would be chronologically impossible, because they were far in time. Although Mary's father name is Imran, Quran says that the father of Maryam was Imran, as is that of prophets Musa and Harun. Even the father of Musa and Harun also was named Imran. Not the same Imran, but they were named Imran, right? According to Islamic tradition. Some commentators explain that the name Harun or Aaron signified a righteousness among the Jews of this time. So among the Jews of the time of Maryam, there was a person who was known to be a righteous person, very much. And he was known among the people as Harun. Now, this Harun is not the same Harun, Nabi Harun, brother of Musa, but he was a righteous person. His name was Harun. So because of that, he became like, the name Harun became like a standard. If you want to say that you are, for example, today we say, may Allah give me sabr of Nabi Ayub, right? Nabi Ayub is known to have a lot of patience. He lost so many things, and all his wealth and his children and his health and his gardens and his animals. Quran is telling us, right? Even then, he never complained, subhanAllah. He continued thanking Allah, subhanAllah. So there is already a phrase that, no, I do not have the patience like Nabi Ayub. Sometimes, for example, if people expect a lot of patience from you, and you, for example, lose your cool or you don't show your patience, so you would say, if you ask me, why did you get angry? I say, okay, yes, I got angry because I don't have the patience of Nabi Ayub. You don't expect. So in the same way, there was a righteous person among the Jews during the time of Nabi Maryam at that time, Nabi Maryam. And his name was Harun. So everybody who was righteous was referred as Harun. See? So they say that some commentators, you can see that they clearly said, here some commentators, Mufassirun, explain that the name of Harun signified the righteousness among the Jews of this time. And so the title sister of Harun was meant to indicate that Maryam was like a Harun in righteousness. See, this is what it means. It doesn't mean that she was a biological sister of Nabi Harun and Nabi Musa. It's not possible chronological. And of course, what they do, what Sayyid Hussain Nasr, after putting this kind of thing, he says, where did he get it? So you can see this T and TS. These are the indications of Tabari and Tabarsi. These are comments. So he says, based on this tafsir, this is what he says. Another explanation is that the name Harun was common among the Israelis, and that Mary had a half-brother named Harun. Another says, no, Mary had a half-brother whose name was Harun, in fact, because it's a very common name, right? For example, today we've got John, and these are very common name, or amongst the Muslim, Muhammad is such a common name, so well known as Muhammad, right? One day when I was in Edmonton 5 years as a resident alim, so I was doing my bachelor's there, and our teacher, Arabic teacher, was Professor Shush. I remember. So he is from Sudan. So one day he said, interesting. He said that my name is Muhammad Shoes, but just call me Shoes. So then I asked him, or somebody asked him, I think that Muhammad is a popular name. Why would you remove Muhammad from your name? And he said the interesting thing. He said in Sudan, every other person is Muhammad. He said if you go to the street and say, "Ya Muhammad," hundreds of people just come out thinking that you are addressing them. So of course, certain names are very popular and are named. So there is another explanation theory that name Harun was a common among Israelis, and that Mary had a half brother whose name was Harun. And now he's quoting here Sa'alabi, Tabarsi, and Zamakhshari. Right? The most wide, then the third theory they give, the most widely held view among the commentators is that Mary was a descendant of Prophet Harun, and the title sister of Harun is meant as a reference to her noble lineage. You see? So subhanAllah, they have to explain this thing properly. But our translator said Ali Quli Karai, being a very smart person, he does not have, because he is just a translation, he does not have the commentary like study Quran or Yusuf Ali or so what he does, he just captures the thing in translations. So initially he said, sisters of Aaron's lineage, right? Then he said, kinswoman of the Aaronites, So then he decided, so he's trying to capture the same thing which is put in this notes, but he just put in a translation way. Do you see? But of course, the literal translation is Ya of the Harun. So I just took trouble to go through and explain to you that now, because you are the students of Quran, you should consider yourself as, it's a very special status. Let me tell you one thing. When I went to Hausa in 1984, my teacher, not teacher, actually, our rector of the university, that means who is the head of the university, who was Ayatullah and who used to come and address us once a week, and all the classes will just attend his lecture in the evening. He used to, whenever he used to write something, he would sign by saying Tilmiz al-Quran, a student of the Quran. So to be a student of Quran is a status, is a special status. Okay? And since all of you are learning to understand the Quran, you are the students of the Quran, and I would encourage you to know these small things, these small nuances here and there, why it differs. So of course, for me, you'd be surprised to prepare this slide took some time, but I deliberately did it so as to share with you that as students of Quran, please try to note the differences and try to find the reasons. Any question before I go to the next slide? Okay, so since there are no questions, we go to the next slide. Next slide is actually answers to the homework which I gave. Now, as we said earlier, that 5 of you submitted the homework. I went through it, and I will comment here. You will know that whom I'm talking about. First of all, the most important thing, some of you, I think, overlooked is that we have been discussing, if you see if you open the text, right? This is lesson 22, right? If you see lesson 22, right, 22, and then also lesson 23, we have been discussing basically, for example, 22 Arab of nouns in the form of fatah and fatatain, right? And then, of course, we can see Arab of nouns. So it is nouns we are discussing, right? Even, for example, we have said here, highlight the 3 nouns. Do you see these nouns? Again, underline the 3 nouns. See? And again, and then 5 nouns. So the word nouns appears in the question 3 times. Even then, some of you have highlighted yashurun, tufsidu, and then ya'mahun. These are verbs. These are not nouns. Okay, these are verbs. So we have not yet entered the discussion about verbs. So please, at least as students of the Quran, that basic understanding you should know. Noun is very easily to be identified. Noun is identified by 2 things. One is you'll find if there is al, right, alif lam al, the definite article, So it can only be joined to a noun, or if you find tanween, right? But then we are also going further. Besides tanween and the definite article al, there are waw, noon, and ya, noon, and alif, noon. Just have we discussed. Okay? So that is whatever main head of our discussion. Let me look at the chat. Somebody has put something in the chat. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, welcome. So keep in mind that please, we are not discussing verbs as yet, and do not at all, as students of Quran, of Arabic, the last mistake you should do is confusing verbs with the nouns and nouns with the verbs. They're completely different things, okay? So we said highlight any three nouns which is the Arab of nominative. Underline any three nouns which is the Arab of accusative. And bold any five nouns which is the Arab of genitive. The following passage from Surah Al-Baqarah, which is ayat number, 9 to 16, right? From Surah Al-Baqarah. And a little bit you can see is big handwriting there, big text size, so that you don't miss out, right? So you can see وَمِنَ النَّاسِ وَمِنَ النَّاسِ أعوذ بالله من الشيطان بسم الله وَمِنَ النَّاسِ. Remember, I told you that this is min. Those who have been with us right from level one, this is just min. But there is fatah mina nasi because of what? Anybody knows? Can somebody tell us why there is fatah or no? The original particle was min. But why there is fatah or noon? Anybody? You can unmute yourself and answer. Even if it's wrong, don't worry. At least you try. You attempted. Anybody remembers why there is fatah or noon?
Does it have to do with preposition? Like
because of what?
Preposition? Like
yeah, min is a preposition, yeah. But why there is a preposition is min, right? But here is min nas, right? Why there is a fatah or noon? Min is mim kasra nun sakin, right?
Yeah.
Is it because it's followed by the article
Why there
al?
is fatah or noon?
Is it because, sorry, go ahead, Han.
Go ahead, bismillah.
No,
Is it because it's followed by the article al?
Because of al, yeah, okay. Or because of what? Because of, remember we said iltika as-sakinain. Do you remember the word iltika as-sakinain? Meeting of two sakin. When two sakins meet, it's difficult on the tongue to pronounce. So then one of them takes a vowel sign. Okay, iltika, lika means to meet. Those who know Arabic, lika. Iltika, meeting. Iltika sakinain, meeting of two sakin. So the original was min and then al-nas, right? An-nas. So you can see an-nas is begin with sakin, an-nas, no? Because of shadda an-nas, right? Original of an-nas is nun sakin and nun fatah, an-nas, right? So because there are two sakin, so this nun, which was min, has taken a vowel sign, min an-nas. Okay, but this min is a preposition, as Sister Saima said. This is a preposition min, and preposition always makes what? It changes the noun which follows into genitive, right? Jar. So min an-nasi. Many of got this correct. So nasi here you can see is genitive. Are you all with me? Okay. Any question? Nasi. This is min an-nasi. Man. See, this is man. This was min, but this is man. Man, min means from, preposition. Man means one who. No. So man, and this is Arabic. There is also man in Farsi, means I. No, man chimi kuni ketu askat mani, right? There's a popular Farsi proverb by Hafiz or Saadi, I think. It says man chimi kuni ketu askat mani. What is that I, that ego, that I? You are the origin of yours is just a najis drop of semen, right? So that is Arabic Farsi man. In Arabic, man means the one who. No? So nasi man yakulu. Amongst the people is the one who says, Amanna billahi. So you can see this is again like min, this ba also is a preposition. Okay. So because of ba preposition, this Allah has kasra. Do you see? Like nas has a kasra, Allah has kasra. So this billahi is again genitive. Are you all with me? Actually, we are revising. We have covered this thing long ago. So as I said in one of the slides earlier, during your free time, please go back and listen to this. And what we have done this time, instead of having a different courses, what we have done, as you can see here in this slide, we have combined all this. If you go to a website, Academy Islam, Quranic Arabic, if you go there, we have combined all the lessons there. So very easy for you to listen one by one. So it is important. So this is it. So وَمِنَ النَّاسِ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ again ba of preposition. وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. So this first of all, this nas is genitive because of min preposition. Allah is genitive because of preposition ba. Al-yawm is genitive because of preposition ba. Al-akhiri is preposition because of mudaf ilayh, right? Is a possessive. Yawm al-akhirah, the day of judgment, right? Preposition comes on account of possession, right? So bil yawm al-akhir. So all these are in genitive. And again, wama hum bimu'minin. So again, ba. Do you see this ba here? Some of you would say this is accusative. This is not accusative, this is genitive. Ba bimu'minin. See this ba is same as ba here. Is a preposition. Ba kasra, right? Again, billahi, bil yawmi, hum bimu'minin. So mu'minin, again, this is genitive. Do you see? So within the first ayat, nas, Allah, Yawm, Akhir, Mu'mineen, all these 5 letters are in genitive form. Do you see this thing? Yes, Saima, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question. So I had trouble going back to the older slides. I was trying to look for which one talked about the genitive case. Like I remember that the possessive, like mudaf ilayh, like I remember that was genitive.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was the other rule about genitive that it
preposition,
has
the lessons on preposition.
Which do you remember? Like which
Yeah, just look at the look at the contents, right? The book also has the contents. So if you see lesson number 7 and 8.
Okay, thank you.
Here I don't remember by heart, but I'm just opening the book, and if you see the contents, it shows lesson number 7 and 8.
Okay.
So if you see lesson 7 and 8 in our past lectures, you'll find preposition. Yes, and in fact, it gives also the list of all the prepositions.
Yeah.
So all of you see that these are all genitive. Are you all with me? Any questions? Did I answer your question, Sister Laima?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yes. So this is, and I think many of you got correct, but no, some of you also underline the mu'min as accusative.
This was a very important homework.
Sorry?
It was a very good homework because it really allowed me to go and push me to go and look at the bad.
Yes, yeah, and that is what whole idea. That I wanted you to go back to some of your lessons, and able to answer this thing. It's a good revision.
So, when you say genitive, so the whole thing waminan nasi is genitive?
No, just the nas.
Just the nas. Okay.
Nas, yeah, genitive, because nas has a seen as a kasra, right? So nas is genitive, Allah is genitive, Yawm is genitive, Akhir is genitive, and Mu'min is genitive. Okay, and all these are because of prepositions, except for Akhir. Akhir is preposition because of genitive, because of what? Because of possessive. The day of judgment, or the day hereafter, right? The day of hereafter.
Why is the ba also bold? Isn't it? If that's a preposition.
Why is ba, sorry?
Should it be Allahi instead? That should be bold in billahi.
No, only Allah, probably because ba is part of the word. So you cannot. It's very difficult to, for example, let's say if I undo this thing, and if I try to just do this thing, you'll see it will not be easy. Just as but if I was doing it, for example, manually, then I want to do that, right?
And then what about the wow fatah, the wa and wow fatah? Like, should we not highlight that one? Should we not bold that one because it's not really?
No, that should not be bold. If you can undo it, yeah.
So all these.
You see, this is the problem, because this when I did this thing, you see what happened. So sometimes the problem because the way this
No problem.
mind you, these are all I try to do it, but it doesn't. It separates. No, then I have to, of course, manually change it. No, example, I have to now change this thing.
I had
Yeah,
one
and
thing
then go
which
back.
is with this technical issue that you're having. What I tried doing is I press enter after each ayah, and then I
Yeah.
can play around a little bit, and I double enter, not once. I can make adjustments, and I find somehow it lets me without
That's correct.
disrupting.
That's correct. I agree with you. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you have to play around with that. But not everybody has the Arabic, I think, software. But yeah, you can do that. But of course, as I said, the genitives are Nas, Allah, Yom, Akhir, and Mu'mineen. Okay. So, any question? But the most important thing here is see Mu'mineen. In all these things, in Nas, the genitive, the sign of genitive is what? Kasra under Sin. Do you see? Kasra under Ha, Allah. Kasra under Mim. Kasra under Ra. In Mu'mineen, there is no kasra, there is fatha. Do you see mu'mineen? So what is the sign of genitive? The sign of genitive is, as we have been doing it, is ya sakin and nun fatha. Do you see this thing? So this is actually, this is actually, do you see this? This is the sign of genitive. The word mu'mineen is genitive, but then the sign of genitive in this all cases is kasra, but in this, sound plural mu'minun, the genitive is indicated by what? By ya sakin and nun fatha. Are you with me? So it is genitive, but it is indication. One is indicated by kasra, another indicated by ya sakin, and this which we covered in the last lesson. If you see lesson 23, that's what we covered. Then you go to the next time. Bismillah. Yukhadi'una. Some of you also highlighted yukhadi'una. This is, as I said, some of you highlighted this also. Now putting it to red. No, this yukhadi'una is also a verb. And we are talking of nouns. Yukhadi'una Allah. Yes, Allah. Now, those of you who, and some of you got correctly, those who underline Allah is correct. This is accusative. Why is it accusative? Anybody knows why it is accusative? Why is Allah accusative? Anybody? Please answer. Even if it's wrong, don't worry. We are learning. We are in the classroom.
Sorry, which Allah are we looking at? Which
this
one?
Ayat, next ayat number 9, right? Yukhadi'un Allah. We are looking next ayat.
Why is
After
it,
ayat number 8, Yukhadi'un Allah.
So the question
so you can
is why
see I have underlined Allah as accusative. Why it is accusative?
Because it's an object.
Because it is object.
The object
Direct
of
object.
yukhadi'una.
Yeah. Yukhadi'una is the verb referring to they. That means, the munafiqeen, right? Yukhadi'un Allah. So Allah here is an object, is a maf'ul. So they're trying to deceive Allah. Of course, they cannot deceive Allah, but no, as Allah said. So Allah here is accusative because it is a direct object. And we have done, if you see in the past, we have got as well. If you just look at same lesson 22, not session, don't confuse lesson with session, okay? Lesson 22, we are doing just lesson 23 in our text. Lesson 22, 23, 23 especially, we have found all the reasons of accusative, right? So one of them is a direct object. So yukhadi'un Allah. So Allah is an object here in this particular sentence. Yukhadi'una is both, is what is a verb as well as also subject. Yes, Ali, go ahead.
I was just going to ask about the following. Would amanu also be, walladhina amanu, would that also be an object?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes, they're object because yukhadi'un Allah walladhina amanu. No, they are trying to deceive Allah and those who believe. Okay. Yes, good question. Yeah. So yukhadi'un. So Allah is what so you can say walladhina amanu. But because I did not underline it, Ali, the reason for that is because وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا is, you can see, is a phrase consisted of pronoun and also a verb, right? وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Remember we did الَّذِينَ, الَّذِينَ, these are pronouns, right? If you see our lesson So these are known as demonstrative pronoun. Lesson number. Yeah, relative pronoun, right? Lesson 20. So
Okay.
alladina is a relative pronoun, right? And amanu is, as you know, of course, those who believe, right? So alladina amanu together, of course, is object of yukhadimuna, but I did not, because it's not a noun. We are trying to say, no, underline the nouns. Okay. But
Okay.
yes, your point, they are technically they are object of yukhadimuna.
Okay.
I'm glad. That's a good observation. وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ. You see, again, وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ, again, this is a verb. إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُمْ. Except their selves. So أنفسهم again is what? Is the object. Now Allah is telling about these hypocrites. They are trying to deceive Allah, and they are trying to deceive those who believe. This was their plan, the hypocrites, right? But see what Allah says. وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ. They do not deceive illa anfusahum. They are just deceiving themselves. In other words, do you think that a person can be so smart and try to deceive Allah? Is the last thing, right? Sometimes people, do things, ibadat, and give charity in a very smart way, but they're forgetting how can you try to be outsmart Allah? It just doesn't make sense, right? So this is it. That there is a very good story. I don't know, you must have heard that one day a person was supposed to give his khums or zakat, and he used to love his wealth very much, very much. He used to love, and so he just could not part with that money. So he found a way that, what should I do? So he goes to a poor person and says that, no, I'm going to give you a lot of money in charity because you deserve, and I'll give you something. So he gave him a big amount. But he said, only you do me one favor. He said that, no, when I'm inside the zari, near the zari, and I'm praying to Allah, oh Allah, give me what I need. At that time, you take this bag, which I'm gifting you, you give it back to me. If you do that, then I'm going to give you some money. So that person was a poor, of course. He was given the story. He didn't know what this person was trying to do. So he just thought that, no, since he's asking me to take this bag and just put in his hand when he's doing dua, that's not a big deal. In the process, I'm getting some money. Why not? So he was praying to Allah that, Allah, give me what I'm asking for. So this poor person brings this bag and puts in his hand. Now that bag contained all his khums, thousands of coins, right? And then out of the thousands of coins, he just gave 10 coins as a gift to this poor person. So he was trying to fool. He says, see, I was supposed to give $1,000, for example, in charity. I gave to this poor person. He gave back to me, right? So now you can see that how people sometimes think that, no, are we going to outsmart Allah? Allah. So you can see Allah says that those who are hiding their hypocrisy in their heart and trying to fool the believers and Allah, they are just fooling themselves. So Allah says, no, yukhadimun Allah walladhina amanu. They intend to, actually here that means they intend to deceive Allah and those believe. وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ subhanallah. وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُم. They do not deceive except themselves. So anfusahum, do you see anfusahum? There is a fatha here. Is a what? Is a pronoun. Nafs is soul. Anfusa is plural. Illa anfusam. So this anfusam is also a direct object of what? Of yakdauna, direct object. They are not deceiving except themselves. So anfusam also is accusative. Are you all with me? Anfusam. Wama yash'urun. Of course, yash'urun is a verb, and those who highlighted it was incorrect, but we are not doing verbs here, no? But they do not realize. So it's a beautiful ayat. No, I would like you to, this is what I want. No, honestly, I've been doing these things for so many years, and even today, as I discuss with you, as I read this thing, I find so much beauty in it. You can see how Allah puts this thing so beautifully and gives the message to human being. That, oh, human being, you think I've created you and I've given you all this knowledge and wisdom and smartness, but at the end of the day, you come back to me. There's also a very good saying in Gujarati, but I know many of you don't speak Gujarati. So I won't repeat it here, but it's something similar. No, a very good saying in Gujarati about that, how people sometimes try to fool Allah. Nauzubillah. No, they become so smart. They think that through my smartness I can even fool Nauzubillah Allah. No, so don't even think of it. Allah says you are only deceiving yourself, but you don't realize. Shaitan does not make you realize that what you are doing. See. Okay. So any questions as far as the ayat is concerned? So accusative is what? Allah and Fusam. Of course, as Adi pointed, Alladina Aman also is accusative, but we did not underline it because it is made up of phrase, as I know, relative pronoun and a verb. Then, of course, fi kulubihim maradun fazadahumul marada walahum adhabun alim. Bima kanu yakzibun, right? So fi kulubihim maradun. Of course, maradun also is a nominative, right? So we can see. So fi, you can see fi is one of the preposition, like min and ba, fi also is preposition. Fi kulubihim, in their hearts. So kulubihim, as Sister Yasmin said, if you can highlight ball only kulub and without him, so that will be done. But kulub is, you can see, kulub is a genitive. Kulubi, you can see. Kalb is singular, kulubun is plural, but kulubi is genitive. Why? Because of fi. Fi kulubihim maradan. In their heart there is sickness. Fazadahumullah. Again, this is a verb. Fazadahumullah. Allah here is subject. Fazadahumullahu maradan. So maradan here is accusative. This is the object. Now, in their heart there is sickness, and Allah increases the sickness. So here Allah is nominative because he's the subject, doer, and marada is objective. Fi kulubin. So you can see a person who is so hypocrite to the extent that he even thinks of, by being hypocrite, he's trying to fool the believers. Then he knows goes to prophet and try to fool the prophet. And then you can see how human being does, right? Do you see how, that you start, for example, sometimes we fool a simple person. When we are successful, then we try to fool a smart person. Then we are successful, then we are trying to fool a alim. Then these people used to fool a prophet. And now they even reach to think that let me also fool Allah. So Allah says, in their heart there is sickness. Allah increases their sickness. That means Allah lets them just go into what kind of deception you are doing. Wallahum adhabun alim, right? Wallahum adhabun alim. All this adhabun. So is also nominative, and alimun is nominative. Of course, simple as that because you can see it as dumaten, right? So you can see dumaten. Wallahum adhab. For them is adhabun alim. Bima kanu yakzibun. Of course, yakzibun is a verb, right? Next, Bismillah. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ. When they are told, do not do fasad, do not corrupt on the earth. So tufsidu is actually a verb, as I said, this verb, right? So we didn't need to mark this thing. If they are told, do not do fasad, do not create corruption. Fil ardis. Fi is a preposition, so earth is, you can see, genitive. That's why I put in bold. Fil ardi. See? Kalu innama nahnu muslihun. We are just trying to, they used to create mischief, but they say we are only trying to do good. That is exactly one of the, you can see, the biggest policy of America today is that we say that we are trying to bring democracy in your country, we are trying to do this thing, but in the process, they are just creating problems, right? In so many Muslim countries. You can see what they've done to Iraq, what they've done to Afghanistan, what they've done to Palestine, what they've done to Yemen. You can see all these policies, right? That you either toe our line, or we will just Lebanon. See what they've done to Lebanon. See what Lebanon is facing. A lot of problems. So did Afghanistan. So is Iraq, right? Now Iran, right? So you can see all these things is this, so that they do all this kind of corruption on the earth, but they say no, we are just doing good. No. Allah innahum humul mufsiduna. No. So humul mufsiduna, right? Of course, this mufsidun is correct. If anybody would underline this is what accusative. Allah humul mufsiduna. وَلَكِنْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. These are the people who are corrupt, but they don't realize it. No. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا كَمَا آمَنَ النَّاسُ. So آمَنَ النَّاسُ. This nasu, of course, is subject. The way people believe. قَالُوا أَنُؤْمِنُ كَمَا آمَنَ السُّفَهَاءُ. Again, you can see. This nas is a subject. Sufaha also is subject. Sufaha means fools. No? So these people, after becoming hypocrites and trying to be too smart, when they are told, why don't you believe? They say, should we believe what the fools believe? So now they consider themselves to be too smart. And Nauzubillah, the Muslims and the Mu'mineen who used to believe Rasulullah, you can imagine they call them as Sufaha, as fools. You can imagine. See the audacity. See the audacity, right? That they call the prophets, people who were around the prophet, like Bilal and Abu Zar and Salman, and all those companions, great companions, and all those Muslims, who were the first one. They call them as Sufaha, as the fool. No? So should we believe what the fools believe? No. Allah again. Allah says, Allah innahu mustafaha walakin la ya'lam. Again, Allah says, in the first place, they are deceiving this. Now Allah says, they are the real fools, but they don't realize. The real fools are there, not the Muslims, not the people, the Prophet and his companions. No? They are the real fools. So do you see how beautiful these verses are and how powerful these verses are? Subhanallah. وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى الشَّيَاطِينِ. Again. So ila also is a preposition, ila, like fi and min and ba. So ila also shayatini. So you can see shaitan is singular, shayatin is plural, and shayatini. Do you see this kasra, shayatini kasra? That is the sign of genitive. Shayatini. Qalu inna ma'akum innama nahnu mustazi'un. No. And when they are with their own companion, Allah calls them shaitan. When these hypocrites are amongst their own colleagues, their peers, they say that no, we are with you actually. When you saw us that we were trying to be with Muslims, we were just trying to fool them, no? But we are with you. But Allah calls their companions shaitan, no, these hypocrites. You can imagine. Allahu yastahzi'u. So Allah, of course, also here also is Allah is a nominative, because Allah is here is a subject. Allah yastahzi bihim, no, wa yamudduhum fi tughyan. Again, fi is a preposition, so tughyanihim. No, in their what excessiveness, fi tughyanihim. Ya'mahun. They are just ya'mahun. Actually, they are just blind in what they are doing. Ya'mahun. They are just sort of not in their wrong belief and in their wrong action. They are just blind. أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة. الضلالة, you can see, is accusative, so we will underline it. No, بالهدى. فما ربيت تجارتهم. تجارتهم, this is no. Again, ربيت is a verb, so this is a subject. فما كانوا مهتدين. مهتدين is accusative. It is, we've done right. The khabar of, no, the predicate of kana is accusative, right? So this is كانوا وما كانوا مهتدين. So this is. Of course, that's why I didn't expect you to do all. That's why we just said any three for nominative, any three for accusative, and 5 for genitive. Okay, so you can see all these things. Any questions? So as Sister Saima said, this was a good homework because it made you discuss a number of things which we have covered in the past. Yes, go ahead. Saima and then Ali. Yes, Bismillah.
Yeah, I just want to ask, is it because I was looking at the slide, I think maybe I missed it when we were doing it last time. So it's Kanu, it's not just Kana. That is example of Hal.
No, Kana is, remember we said Kana, we have done in the previously, I think, lesson, that the predicate of Kana is accusative. It is lesson number, hold on, I'll tell you.
It's 27, right? I think it was the last one.
Yeah, it is, yeah, let me just try to find where it is. No, it is, yeah, on page 80, the predicate of Kana. Page 80 in the book, just before, at the end of lesson 22. The 8th example of adjective, accusative is predicate of Kana. So here, look, Muhtadin is Kana. Yes, Ali?
Oh, just a question. Bil Huda, is that?
Yes. Bil Huda, yes. This is genitive, you're right. But you see, the problem is, I did not underline this thing, is, of course, ba is preposition, and al huda is a noun because there's alif noun, so you're correct. But you can see this is we have not done this thing lesson. We are going to do it later on. There are certain nouns whose sign, appearance of nominative is difficult to know. This is one of them. See, because there is no kasra here, nor is there is waw and noon, right?
Right.
The only, you see, is just there is long alif on ya. So it's very difficult. So these are very unique nouns. Even when they are preceded by a preposition, it still stays it is. So, but we are coming to that lesson later on.
Okay.
So I did not underline because we have not covered that particular lesson. These are known as those nouns which do not take i'rab. So this is one of them, right?
Okay.
Yes, good. Good is good opposition. Yes, Sister Yasmin.
This word muhtadin, so shouldn't that be in genitive because it's ending with ya, sakin, and nun?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. See, it is genitive because it is accusative. It's not genitive. It's accusative because it is predicate of kana, but the accusativeness is indicated by ya sakin.
So it's not genitive?
Yes. No, it's both. It's genitive and accusative, but in this case, it's accusative. Ya sakin nun is a sign of both genitive and accusative, as we are going to do today also. But in this case, it is accusative. It's indicated by ya sakin and nun fatha.
Okay.
Like muminin, right? Muminin is both accusative and genitive. So you have to see the context. Here the context is accusative. But okay. Muminun is nominative. Muminin is accusative as well as genitive. So how do you know whether it's accusative or genitive? You have to see the context. So here you can see, because it is the predicate of kana, it is accusative.
Okay.
Okay. But is indicated by ya sakin and nun fatha. So any questions? So I know, of course, this was not an easy homework, but at the same time, you could have answered what was required, 3, 3, and 5. But if you try to do everything what I've done, then of course it requires you to have the revise some of the past lessons. Okay. But good, whoever tried to do the homework and submitted is appreciated. That. So this is the lessons which we did. Some of you had found the difficulties. So again, here are the slides. I've just kept it here. If you can just look at it, if you have any questions. So, see, lesson 22, we did 8 cases of accusative. Different kind of 8 cases where the accusative is there in lesson 22. So it was a long lesson, and it was also a complicated lesson. Some of you also had written to me emails that what you were finding it difficult. So this is why that now I'll just very quickly cap the slide here again. If you have any question, yes, go ahead, Sister Saima. Just in the slide, what is the question in this slide? Go ahead, Sister Saima.
Sorry, I was having trouble with the computer. My question, regarding this slide, basically I noticed that like in lesson 22, it doesn't like, and I think in some other lessons, it'll say it'll explain the different things, but it wouldn't say that that's accusative or genitive or nominative. Like it'll say, okay, this is direct object, or this is hal, or this is.
Yes, we have done. We have done. Also, not only that, if you see there is, we have done earlier, but there is also one slide which appears here. You can see here. One slide you see here. See, this slide is always been there. Slide number 4. See, nouns and adjectives having the i'rab of dhamma are said to be in the nominative case, ma'ruf. It sounds plural. In some plurals, the nominative is indicated by waw and noon as mu'minun and muslimun. You see it. So these slides, I've kept it all the time there.
Yeah.
And we covered as a lesson also earlier.
Yeah, this is what was helping me in the assignment. But my thing is, like, what I'm saying is in the textbook, I'm not seeing the word accusative.
Yeah, exactly. Just we are going to do our textbook does not use these words. Our textbook does not use the word nominative, accusative, genitive. You're correct, no? There's a
So I just have to keep switching between this slide that, the essential definition slide, and
Yeah.
then the textbook, and then the last slide, the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
that.
No, some of the words the textbook does not use, but I'm using them. But then I explain them, no? Because this accusative, nominative, these are not common words which you use in our language, but all books of Quranic Arabic use it, except our textbook does not use it. But at the same time, our text uses the Arabic equivalent of that maruf, marfu, and mansub and majrur. It uses. Now our textbooks uses that thing, but does not use the word nominative, accusative, genitive.
Okay. I see.
But I'm just using it because you should know that, because in other textbooks these words are there. But the concept should be known. Even if you don't know these words, even if you don't know their spelling, as far as the concept is understood, that's fine. Okay. So any questions in this slide? Because we have done already, but if anybody still has any questions, this slide and the next slide.
Sir, on this slide, I had one more question. I had trouble understanding, like, so in number 2, what it says, like whenever a noun comes after the word illa,
Yeah.
as an exception to a positive action, like so yeah, in the homework that we had, I think there was some mention of illa, right? In some of the ayats.
Yes. La ilaha illallah.
Did we use those did we highlight those for did we mark those for accusative? I don't remember. Did we do that?
Yeah, we have, for example, if you look at what next slide.
Okay.
Here it is. See, this is known as istisna. So if you look at these verses 12, 47, 28, no, if you open 12, 47, Bismillah ar-Rahman. So it is قال تزرعون 7 سنين دعبا فما حصدتم فذروه في سنبله إلا قليلا مما تأكلون, right? So إلا قليلا, they say that then live in the year whatever grain you harvest, except a little that you eat. So إلا قليلا, this qalilan is accusative because it is after illa. So this is known as illa istisna, except. So when illa is an indication of istisna, that means exception, then what the noun follows after that is accusative.
Yeah, I think what throws me off, like what I was confused about was, like, how in the definition in number 2, it says on the other slide where it says that it's followed by, so the noun comes after illa, but for a positive action. So
Yeah.
so I understand for sujood, that was a, like, Iblis, like the sujood one, that's a positive action, sujood.
Yeah.
But like from an Islamic worldview. But then where is the positive action about, like, the grains, like except for little.
Yeah, open that. Have you opened the ayat?
Yeah.
Can you open the ayat?
Yeah, I have it on Tanzil.
Yeah, okay. So you see, it says, he said, you will sow for 7 consecutive years, then live in the year whatever gain you harvest, except little one. So is not that positive that live in the year? That means he's trying to say that when famine comes, what should you do? Right? So when the famine comes, then live in the year whatever grain you harvest, except a little one. You see? So when you leave that, that extent of what you leave when you leave the grain in the ear, there's a positive action, right? Except some of it. That means what he's trying to advise is that don't consume everything what you harvest, because famine is going to come.
Yeah, I see. I had the Sahih Bukhari translation, and it was a little different, so it wasn't as clearly positive.
Okay. But as I told you, if you go to tanzil.net, you get different translations there. Okay, then you'll see that. Now, read it, for example, different translations, you'll get idea.
I'm just thinking Qalila is just little. Little is not always, when it comes to food, is not always a good thing. So I thought it's negative.
Yes, correct. Here, Khalil does not mean like Adi Khalil. Here, Khalil is accept little. Now, that means only consume little and the rest, because he was saying there'll be 7 years of famine, not only 1.
Yeah.
So you need to rest a lot. You need to save a lot.
Yeah.
So, and then this is the next slide, number 3 and 4. So these are 4 examples of what accusative on the nouns, if you've covered in lesson 22, but some of you had had difficulty understanding. So I just kept it there. It's still in the lesson. I'm not removing it. So if you have any questions, you can go back and look at this lesson and let me know if you have any questions, okay? So we go to the next now, lesson 23. We started this last week, signs of i'rab on nouns. Now, earlier, said the simplest form is when noun ends with fatha, kasra, or dhamma, right? Or fathatain or kasratain dhamma. As you said, there's a simplest form. The signs, what indicates what noun? Remember, we said earlier in the homework that what indicates, you see? So, for example, here, kasra under ha, billah, Allahi, this is indicative of what? I'rab, right? I'rab is what is I'rab? I'rab is the sign, vowel sign in the last letter of a noun. Okay, so Allahi, Yawmi, this is known as I'rab. So the indication is either by kasra, or for example, here by fatha, you can see Allah, or sometimes with Dumma, Maradun, Dhammatain, right? This is it. So they say that the simplest form is just by what? Fatha, kasra, dhamma, fathatain, kasratain. This is it, right? But then, of course, we said I'rab is also indicated by letters. So waw nun, ya nun, alif nun. Alif, ya, or waw, followed by nun, right? So this is also indication of what I'rab sometimes. And then all these verses we discussed last time, no? If you want, I can.
For plurals, right? This number 2 is more for plurals, right?
Yes, it is plurals, yes. But just now, our question is not whether it's plural. Our question is that indication of I'rab nouns. How is I'rab noun indicated? Okay. And of course, here you can see, of course, here they said this applies to singular form. You see, so this is plural. You're right, yeah. And when also dual, when a dual or plural noun is mudaf, then the noon of I'rab is dropped. So this is interesting that the noon of I'rab, this noun, is dropped if it's mudaf. No? So let us look at it. Let's, for example, look at the most common is 527. So let's go to 527, right? Which we did last week also very quickly because we are discussing this thing. 527, because this is the story of the first murder of human history, right? So everybody knows the story of Habil and Kabil, right? But there is an interesting point there of grammatical. 527. So if you go and look at this, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Watlu alayhim naba ibn Adam. So naba ibn Adam, look, watlu alayhim, relate to them. Naba is account or story, right? Ibn Adam, it was Ibnain, because Bani means son, right? Ibnan, 2 sons. So it is the 2 sons of Adam. But Ibnain Adam, right? Noon has been dropped, right? Why? Because Ibn Adam is mudaf ilayh, the sons of Adam. So Ibn Adam is 2 sons of Adam. So these 2 sons of Adam, Ibnain Adam, they become Ibn Adam. The noon has been dropped. So that is the point here. When a dual or a plural noun is mudaf, then the noon of I'rab is dropped. So that was dual, right? Let us look at 497. Perhaps 497 will be not a dual, maybe not a plural. Let's see, 497. So if you look at 497, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna alladhina tawaffahum al-malaikatu zalimi anfusim. Yeah, this is, you can see, plural. It is zalimina. It's not zalimi. It's zalimina. Zalim is singular. Zalimun is plural. Zalimin is plural in genitive accusative form. Okay, but here say zalimi anfusim. No, wronging themselves. See, zalimi. So it is zalimina, But because it is mudaf ilay, the noon disappears. So instead of saying zalimin anfusim, you just say zalimi anfusim. I know it's a little complicated, but you inshallah, not everything you understand immediately, but over time understand. So just that that when a dual or plural noun is mudaf, that noun is mudaf, then the noon of Arab is dropped, because the noon of Arab, you can see noon of Arab is wow, and this is the noon. This noon is noon of Arab. This noon again, you see this is the noon of Arab, right? This is the noon of Arab. But in the mudaf ilay, just noon is dropped. Yes, Sister Saima?
Yeah, like in the ayat that we just looked at, I'm wondering, how did you know that it was mudaf ilay?
Because zalim and fusim.
So anfusihim is the mudaf ilay, right? Themselves.
No, anfusim is not mudaf. Anfusim is what pronoun.
No.
Nafs and pronoun, right? Their souls. Zalim and fusim, the doer of their doing wrong of themselves. Mudaf ilay is a possession, right? So zalim and fusim, those who do wrong to themselves.
So why is zalim part of mudaf ilay?
Zalim and fusim is a phrase together. Zalim and fusim, that means wronging themselves. The original was zalimina and fusim.
Yeah.
But because they combine together, that means doing doing wrong to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
When you do wrong to yourself, so you are that means doing wrong of self. No, you are doing wrong to yourself. But of course, because in English, when you translate, we say the wrong to yourself. But it is wrong of the self. Now, the literal translation is off. In mudaf there is always off, right? Possession. Mudaf.
Yeah,
so
I thought
zalim and fusim, that doing wrong of the selves.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so together this zalim and fusim is mudaf ilay. So zalimi is mudaf ilay. Mudaf ilay is anfusihim, and mudaf is zalimi. So it was zalimina, it became zalimi.
mudaf is the owner, and mudaf ilay is the possession, right? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Ibn Adam, right? Sons
Yeah,
of Adam.
the Ibn Adam, I can see that. Yeah, like the sons is the possession, and and Adam is the possessor, the owner. But in Anfusihim, I'm seeing that the souls, like their souls. So them or their is the possessor, the owner, and then the souls is the possession. But I don't understand how zalim.
Don't always take in the concept of possession always. No.
Okay.
That is a very simple way of doing. Actually, it is just off. If you can put it off in a sentence, then that is mudaf ilay, no? So
Okay.
it is zalim and fusim, doing wrong of the self, no?
Okay, I see.
Yeah, doing wrong of the self, doing wrong of form, not of the self. Okay. But yeah, I agree with you that it's a tricky concept. No, there is no doubt. We are trying to say that that noon has disappeared because of this particular rule, number 3. Okay, and there is again 11.114 also. If you look at, since it is confusing people, so we also look at the third example. Let us look at 11.114. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wa kimi salati tarafi al-nahari. You see, tarafi al-nahari. So it is tarafain nahar. Taraf is end. Tarafain, to end. Tarafain nahar, that means to 2 ends of day. Okay. So akimi salata tarafain nahari. Maintain the prayer at the 2 ends of the day, in the morning and the evening, right? So you can see. So it is tarafain and nahari, but noon of that Arab has disappeared. Tarafain is just tarafain nahari. Are you with me? So it's a little tricky, I understand, of course, at this moment. But since she has mentioned, the author has mentioned, so I'm giving this example. If you understand, fine. If not, inshallah, you can just put things which you don't understand. You can put, for example, a question mark there. You need to read more. For example, you need to find more examples, or when it comes again in future, then again do it. It will come. The good thing about Arabic, when you study, that they are so interlinked that the concept come again and again. The concepts appear again and again, so you'll find it coming again. Okay. And the last, number 4, is this is what we did last week. Of course, we are just revising. Nouns in the dual form ending with ya sakin or nun kasra, right? Ya sakin nun kasra. indicates either accusative or genitive. You see, so you can see in the dual form it is ya sakin, like hasnain, sibtain, right? So now the dual form ending with ya sakin and nun kasra indicates either accusative or genitive. So it is either accusative or genitive, both right, but you have to see the context. Okay, so let us look at 436. Okay, and then do as idea, right? So we go to 436, see what they are saying. So 436, if you go, we discussed this thing, right? Last week was just very quickly. Bismillah. Wa'udullah wa la tushriku bi shay'an wa bil walidaini ihsana. Right? So walidaini, daini, that ya sakin and nun kasra, this is, but in this case it is genitive, right? Why? Because of ba, wa bil walidaini. Walid is parent, walidain means parents, right? So ba, wa bil walidain ihsana. So ba is a preposition, so it becomes walidaini in dual. Okay, and that is in genitive. So either accusative or genitive, it is walidain. Now we come to the next slide, which is completing this lesson of lesson 23. Feminine nouns, atun, is in nominative form. Example 397. Ayatun bayinatun. So ayat is singular, ayatun. Ayatun is plural, right? Ayat is a singular, number one. It is feminine, right? How is feminine? How we know ayat is feminine? Exactly, yes, sir. Right? So ayatun is signs. Bayinatun. Because bayinatun is discussing what ayat, adjective, it also has to be the same form. So ayatun is nominative, bayinatun. You see ayat bayinat, right? Example 397. The same ayat bayinat, as I was looking in our text, it is written like this: ayatun. In the Quran, on the left Quran app which I have on my phone, it was spelled this ayat bayinat. You see, so I wrote both of them here for you. You can see sometimes it is the same thing, it's written different, the scripts. This is the beauty of it, right? The question: what is the function of mim on tum? No, ayatum bayinat. What is the function of mim here? Anybody? Ayatum bayinat. In your text. What is the function of mim?
Mim iqlab.
Sorry?
It's like the rule in tajweed, mim iqlab, where we don't say the meme fully.
No, but what is the function? Ayatum bayinat. What is the function of mim there? Why it is there? What rule is being applied?
It's possessing.
No. What rule is there? Ayatum bayinat. That means, what clear signs, manifest signs. What is the function of mim there? It is idgham. It is it's a tajweed rule, right? In tajweed, if nun sakin is followed by ba, nun sakin become mim sakin. This is a tajweed rule. Okay, it's not idgham. Assimilation. English word is assimilation, idgham. So ayatum bayinat. It's not a grammatical rule. It's a tajweed rule. Ayatum bayinatum. Like for example, mimbar, right? Mimbar is mim kasra, nun sakin, ba fatha and ra. Mimbar. But we say what? We say mimbar. No, we don't say minbar. We say mimbar, right? When we say, for example, the pulpit, mimbar. But it is written as minbar. Yes, Sister Yasmin?
Is the iqlab rule? Iqlab?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, it's iqlab. Yeah, it's iqlab, it turns, yeah, iqlab. It's not iqlab, yes, yeah. Thank you. So yeah, it is iqlab. Iqlab, that means complete changes, right? Inqilab, it means revolution, yeah. So there is a change. Noon changes to meme completely. Okay, now, not the different ways of writing, as we said. Now, other examples, of course, are 3:7. We just look at one ayat because we don't have much time. Sorry, 9:45. So we'll just look at only one ayat, ayat number 7, surah number 3. Okay, because there you can see time 2. Twice it appears. Okay, so 3:7. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Okay. هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب منه آيات محكمات. You see, it is he who has sent down to you the book. منه آيات محكمات. Parts of it are definitive verses. So آيات محكمات. You can see this is what feminine which ends with nominative. آيات محكمات. What verses which are this. هن أم الكتاب. These are the mother of the book. أخرى متشابهات. متشابهات again is what? Well, others are ambiguous. متشابهات. So متشابهات also is a feminine noun which ends with alif and ta'dhumatain, right? Ta and dhumatain. So these are examples of what? Nominative form.
Sheikh, can I ask a question here?
Yes, go ahead, yeah.
What if we, many times I've heard people reciting Yasin, and in Yasin there is this rule of iqlab. If they skip the noon of iqlab, does the pronunciation and everything changes there?
No, it does not change. It's just they have not followed the rule of tajweed. It doesn't change. For example, if you say mimbar or minbar, doesn't make any difference, right?
Okay.
The correct is not. So it is actually, in reality, this iqlab or idgham, all these are, we have discussed this thing earlier, if you remember the lesson. This is just to make it light on the tongue, because it's easier. It is easy to say mimbar than minbar. Try it, no? It is easy to say anbiya than anbiya.
Okay.
So it is just lighter on the tongue,
Mhm.
but doesn't change the meaning, no.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so it's 9:45. Any questions before we end the class today? So this slide, inshallah, we post it tomorrow. Hopefully, you know, I don't post it myself. Just pray that I can learn how to do that. It is the webmaster does, so sometimes they take time. But these slides are there. And my request is, because mashallah, many of you are already with us. The moment you find the slide there on the website, please download it and put on the WhatsApp group. Okay, so others can also follow it, because I go on receiving emails from people. So please, once you find that it has been posted on the website, you can easily download and put on a WhatsApp group so others can also do. Yes, Sister Saima.
Yes, I just want to ask, like, if I just reach out to the group here since we're live, or if you can, Malana, help, because I'm not sure if I was here when when you guys first started and talked about this, but I'm still having trouble getting the Arabic from the slide onto the Google Doc or onto Word document, and I'm using like Apple computer. So
Yeah, okay.
Videos
Last class we had a sister whose name was Farhana who was ready to help out. So either you can write in a WhatsApp group if anybody can help show you this thing. We discussed this thing in detail, but otherwise, what I'll do, just email me tomorrow, and I will give you the email of Sister Farzana, and she will inshallah.
Right now? Is she in this group right now? No, she's not. Okay.
She was there last time. She was there.
I did. She did. Yeah, no, she was very kind. She responded and everything, but I didn't understand because she was telling me she was using a cutting tool.
Sister, I can help out, inshallah. I have a Mac as well.
Okay.
Let me know.
Is this,
Okay, thank you, Hassan. Shukran.
Sister Sema, I'll message you on the group just so that you can know which number I am.
Okay, perfect.